Good morning. This is one of the joys of landscape photography. You get up well before sunrise. You drive to a location that you think is going to be perfect. You even check the weather and you think the cloud layer is going to be working in your favor. Well, we're overlooking Lake Powell, your page, and there's way too much cloud level for this shot. I took a few frames. We'll get them back to the computer, see what they look like, and hopefully there's something there that I can work with for the labor that I put in this morning. But nonetheless, it is a gorgeous morning. It's not too terribly cold, and it's just so quiet and peaceful up here. So, at least I've got that going for me. We'll see what we got when we get back to the computer. Okay, still up at Lake Powell Overlook, and I'm gonna look for some other compositions. Found one back there that I like. I'm gonna see if I can get reflection off the lake. So Lake Powell, this is the second shot of the morning. I shot this at f/16, 1/8 of a second. It's that butte or that rock formation right out there on the other side of the lake. If you can see it, hopefully. I actually shot a couple bracketed exposures of it, so I've got some other exposures that I can blend in to get the layers of rock the way that I want them to look. If the first shot doesn't work out, of course. You don't always have to do HDR. You don't always have to do exposure blending. Sometimes you get the shot in the first shot. Sometimes you don't want to use filters, so that's when you do bracketing and do luminosity masking. And it all depends on how much time you want to spend in front of the computer as opposed to spending it outdoors shooting. And I'd rather be outdoors shooting. Speaking of which, I'm going to look for another composition. I think I see one. It's a little island. If it pans out in the lens and on the back of the camera, we'll talk about it shortly. Third shot of the morning. I'm still at Lake Powell, and I shot this little island right out there. Shot it at f8, 50th of a second, ISO 100. I liked it because of the reflection on the water, and it just drew my eyes to it, so that's the one I took. There's a lot of obvious shots here. There's probably quite a few more compositions that you can just find that are random. This isn't a bad location for sunrise or sunset. I may come back up here for sunset, because sunset has some vistas off to the west that would look pretty cool. Depends on the cloud layer. Like I said earlier, when I was looking at different weather apps, the cloud layer was supposed to be high, and it looks like we got a layer of high and a layer of mid. It just totally blocked out the sun and the location that I was shooting towards. So it was a wash, but you know what? That's what happens when you get up early and You go out to a beautiful location and try to photograph something. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Well, if you can't tell, the light's gotten kind of harsh. The sun's up higher. I just finished shooting up 2 panos that had some really good light still on rock formations off in the distance. I'll show you those here in a bit. And I'm thinking it's time to wrap it up. Go cook some breakfast and head out for the day. With those 2 panos in the bag, I headed back to where we were staying, ate brunch with my wife, and then we headed out to do some explorations of a slot canyon and a different view of Horseshoe Bend, which we'll see next week. My original intent was to come back and photograph sunset here, but the winds that day were against us. In fact, when Shelly and I returned to the Overlook, it was so windy that the car that we were in was shaking. So we got out, we did some looking around, but there's just no way. The winds were too stiff. I talk about that next week as well when you visit Horseshoe Bend and the Slot Canyon. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet done so, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications of future videos. And we'll see you next week when we explore a secret slot canyon near Page and a different look on Horseshoe Bend.